What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Gilbert Burns saying Charles Oliveira is unbeatable right now, even for Khabib. Welterweight contender Gilbert Burns is not shy about supporting his Brazilian brothers, but he feels that despite all the talk that Khabib Nurmagomedov is the greatest lightweight of all time, Charles Oliveira could be entering a whole different level right now. Oliveira has been fighting for a long time, and he moved up to lightweight after seeing some struggles at featherweight. He's been incredible at 155 pounds, winning the title and continuing on an 11-fight win streak. He's proven that he can overcome adversity and has come out on top numerous times over the past years. But can he get past Khabib Nurmagomedov? That's the question that Burns was asked by Helen Yee in a recent interview. Burns was very supportive of Oliveira and stated that, yes, he is a bit biased towards his countrymen, but he also stated that Oliveira has the most submission wins in UFC history. He has a high finishing rate and submitted a contender quicker than Khabib did in Justin Gaethje. He went on to say this.
I'm a fan of both, but right now, Oliveira right now, he's unbeatable. I don't know if they make that fight for sure, Khabib is different, but I don't know, bro. Oliveira is on a different level right now.
The talk right now is who Oliveira will be taking on for the vacant lightweight title later this year. Khabib himself is campaigning hard for his boy Islam Makhachev to get that opportunity, a fighter who is on a 10-fight winning streak and has made a case to fight for the title. Khabib also stated that he's retired and is not on the path to return to the cage anytime soon. But what do you think of Burns' statement? Do you agree with him? And who do you think would come out on top in a hypothetical fight between Khabib and Oliveira? Don't forget to take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to stay up to date on the latest fight news. Beneil Dariush also believes the scale tampering explanation for UFC 274. There was a lot of controversy prior to UFC 274, as Charles Oliveira was stripped of his lightweight title after missing weight by just half a pound. He was set to defend his belt against Justin Gaethje, but by missing weight, he had to ultimately vacate the title and fight for the chance to become #1 contender. He did that and then some, making a statement on the fight, knocking down Gaethje, taking his back, and submitting Gaethje in the first round. The fight was highly anticipated, as many believed Gaethje would give Oliveira's toughest test to date, but that turned out to be the opposite. It was his easiest win since becoming champion in May of last year. In the aftermath, some, including UFC President Dana White and UFC commentator Joe Rogan, believed that the scale used to weigh Oliveira had been tampered with. It was inaccurate as a result. They explained how there were fighters from all over the world who used the scale hours before the official weigh-in and are constantly moving it from kilos to pounds and back again. UFC lightweight and possible contender Beneil Dariush completely backs up that explanation and says that he saw this happen with his own eyes several times in the past. So it's likely that the scale was simply inaccurate because of it. This is what he said in a recent interview with ESPN.
It's half a pound. He's not trying to give up his purse. So I'm sure he was on weight like he said he was. I believe him. And as far as people getting on that scale and sitting on that scale and changing the kilos to pounds, totally true. All the time people do it. Like I mean, I've seen it.
Dariush went on to say that he understands why the UFC stripped Oliveira, and it's just a messed up situation all around that should be learned from. Dariush is in the discussion for a possible shot at the lightweight title. He was set to take on Islam Makhachev for the #1 contender status later this year once he heals up from a leg injury. But Oliveira's situation could change all that, as the UFC is being pressured to match up Oliveira against Islam Makhachev for the vacant lightweight title. It's unclear what the UFC will do here and who will be tapped to face the Brazilian. But what do you think of Dariush's comments here? And what do you think the UFC should do in terms of an opponent for the Oliveira title fight? Today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek. Live events are back, and that means you can get $20 off tickets at SeatGeek with promo code MMAZone. If you don't know what SeatGeek is, they're a ticketing app that makes buying tickets super simple. I've got the app on my phone, and it's by far and away the easiest way to buy tickets, whether it's MMA events, concerts, baseball, basketball, football, festivals, or more. SeatGeek puts tickets from all over the web in one place to make buying simple. UFC 276 is right around the corner, and SeatGeek wants to make sure you're getting a good deal, so look for the green dots. Green means good deal, red means bad. Don't worry, I've got the hookup. Use code MMAZone for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code MMAZone. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and get tickets with SeatGeek. Conor McGregor should want to fight Tony Ferguson, says Triple C. Could a fight against Tony Ferguson be just what Conor McGregor needs when he steps back into the octagon? That's what Henry Cejudo is saying. The Irishman is gearing up for a return to the octagon sometime this year after suffering a broken leg injury last July. By the time McGregor steps back into the cage, it would most likely been at least a year since he last fought. He's already lost 3 of his last 4 fights dating back to 2018, including back-to-back losses to Dustin Poirier in 2021. But McGregor is still a massive name, and his star power always brings the big bucks for himself, the UFC, and his opponents. While McGregor stated he'd love to fight for a title upon his return, possibly at welterweight, many are telling him to take it easy and get a tune-up fight before he's able to go in there with tougher competition. While Michael Chandler cut a great promo after he knocked out Tony Ferguson at UFC 274, in which he called out McGregor, Cejudo is more interested in the guy who was left unconscious for several minutes. Ferguson and McGregor have a bit of a history. The trash talk that has gone back and forth over the years has not gone unnoticed, and Ferguson is still one of the most respected fighters in the lightweight division. This is what Cejudo stated on the Triple C and Schmo show.
I like the Tony Ferguson fight for him. I think that fight is winnable for Conor. Conor, he cannot be taking these high-level competition. He's gonna get hurt. He's gonna continue to keep getting hurt. He you know what I'm saying? I think he'd go up to with Tony, and then maybe, of course he's a cash cow. Give him whoever you want at 55 or 70. But I think he needs to get his feet win, at least win, man. Win a damn fight.
What do you think? Do you feel this is a good fight for McGregor to return to later this year? It's likely that Ferguson wouldn't even be cleared to train hard again for about 90 days at least, given his knockout. That could be a good time frame for a possible McGregor fight. Do you want to see this fight? And who do you think would win? The wife of Michael Pereira speaks on husband's callout of Jorge Masvidal. One of the most bizarre callouts in recent memory is getting fleshed out a bit more and more, as Michael Pereira's wife speaks out over the text that was read around the world. This past weekend, after winning a split decision over number 14 ranked welterweight Santiago Ponzinibbio at UFC Vegas 55, Michael Pereira called out Jorge Masvidal, saying Gamebred had texted some prayer hands emoji to his wife a while back, and he wanted an explanation in the octagon. Pereira seemed upset that Masvidal responded to his wife and not to him as well, despite the fact that it's hard to tell if they even are together since she doesn't have his last name. And Masvidal said nothing, it was just prayer hands. Anyway, Masvidal quickly went on Twitter, posted a screenshot of the exchange, in which all she said was, "Kill it, you got this," back in March of 2021. Masvidal ended this tweet with the caption, "How crazy a world and how far has society fallen that this idiot Michael Pereira would use his wife to hopefully one day get a paycheck and create a fake narrative to try and get a fight with me when clearly he sees she slid in my DM. Wishing you guys the best. Hashtag marriage counselor." Now, Pereira's wife, Gina Amir Atelier, is responding with a long statement which she posted on Instagram. This is what it said. "Society is always looking for excitement, and unfortunately drama sells, twisting the narrative to create a story that is false. I have never and would never do anything to disrespect my marriage or my husband. This account, as you can see, is a business account, and way more than one person has access to it. This is not even the way I would speak, not to mention it is from years ago and before I even knew Michael. Michael and I would appreciate respect as we're starting a family together. There's lots of hatred in this world. We do not need to add to it. Peace and love to all of you. I mean, your husband started all this, but whatever." Anyway, Masvidal is on a 3-fight losing skid while Pereira has won 5 straight bouts and expected to enter the top 15 this week. What do you think of Pereira's wife's statement? And do you think these two guys should fight? The Bullet talks prospects of becoming a champ. With Valentina Shevchenko gearing up to defend her UFC Women's Flyweight title in just a few weeks at UFC 275 in Singapore against Taylor Santos, the Bullet has no illusions about what the UFC could be planning. Valentina has only ever lost to one woman in the octagon, and that woman is Amanda Nunes at 135 pounds. She lost a decision 2 times to the Brazilian, but despite that, Valentina has been aces in the UFC, winning 11 fights and currently on an 8-fight winning streak, including 6 successful flyweight title defenses. But Valentina is running out of opponents in the 125-pound division. She's been so dominant, she's running circles around the division. With Amanda Nunes finally having found a foil in the bantamweight division in the form of Juliana Pena, whom she lost by submission back in December, the UFC is going headfirst into a rematch between Pena and Nunes. This rematch includes a massive push with a turn on the Ultimate Fighter reality TV series. But once this score is settled and either Pena or Nunes emerges victorious, Valentina believes she'll be tapped to move up to challenge the winner for the UFC Women's Bantamweight title. This is what she stated while on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani when she was asked if this was a possibility.
Yes, I think by the end of the year it's gonna be a good fight. But also, like, we have to see Misha Tate is coming to 125.
Yes,
it's in July, so it's like many things can happen. Many things can change, right? So yeah, I think. It's possible.
Wow.
It's very, very, very possible.
Yep. Don't forget, Valentina submitted Pena during the main event of a Fight Night show in January 2017 at Bantamweight with an armbar. If she did it before, there's a possibility she could do it again. What are your thoughts on the fact that Valentina could possibly fight the winner Pena and Nunes later this year? And do you feel Valentina could end up as a champ in 2022? Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to see more videos just like this. See you next time.